The fight for gender equality is a central part of the European story, the tale of quiet persistence, vocal protest, and political change. The European Parliament, representing all Europeans, has played a vital role. But despite decades of progress, women continue to face barriers that men don't.
We must keep fighting until every woman in Europe has the same chances as every man.
Equal opportunities means democracy.
What gives the EU the right and the obligation to fight for gender equality? And why is Parliament such an important part of the picture? For answers, I met Antonella Sberna, Parliament's Vice President responsible for its Gender Equality Week, and Lina Galvez, Chair of Parliament's Committee on Women's Rights and Gender Equality. Why is it still important to fight for gender equality in the EU?
The estimations to reach equality are close to 70 years within the European Union, and worldwide it is close to 300 years. So we are not there. Women's rights are not independent of democracy. The ones that wants to attack democracy are really going against women's rights, because feminism has been the most democratic political movement of this 21st century.
Across the EU, women earn 12% less than men on average. They represent only 1 in 3 members on corporate boards, and they are underrepresented in most of the national parliaments. Subtle discrimination persists, and women continue to face sexual harassment, gender-based violence, and difficulty reconciling careers and childcare. Equality between men and women is a fundamental EU value enshrined in the EU treaties. These agreements bind member countries and define where the EU has the right to act. On gender equality, they are clear. It's an objective Europe must pursue at home and abroad.
They are the legal basis for the EU to take action to promote equal opportunities, equal pay, and equal participation, to fight against discrimination, gender-based violence, and so on. Beyond the legal aspects, in my opinion, the EU has a kind of moral obligation to pursue equality and show that an inclusive society is really possible. Gender equality is an horizontal principle applied in the EU external actions, from trade agreements to humanitarian aid and international cooperation. We support women's rights in partner countries and promote equal access to education, healthcare, and decision-making for women and girls.
The European Parliament role in gender equality is central, not only for European women and men, but worldwide. There are many countries in the world, many female organizations all over the world really waiting for us.
Your right to say it.
People are born equal. That is the main idea that should really inspire every piece of legislation in this chamber, that we can guarantee that this equality of rights is a real equality of opportunities.
What issues are women from all walks of life facing?
Does being a woman somehow affected your professional path?
Of course, very much. Not only mine, but I think all women. Being women still in our societies, more in some societies than in others, is still undervalued. Then we raise up with different stereotypes, what the society expects from us, and it's very different from what still they expect for men. We face this glass ceiling, and we cannot sometimes go up.
The main issue with gender equality in the EU today is that women still earn less, lead less, and carry more of the care burden. Women today are more present in all aspects of our life and can fulfill almost any role. At the same time, not all rights that we ask for are yet there. Thinking about this digitalization, today digital tools can give women more access to job and education, but there are also new risks like online harassment and the pressure to always be available. Large gaps remain in political representation, wage equality, and protection from gender-based violence.
Here at this parliament, in the previous term, we were 40% of women. Now we are 38.5%, which is not a lot, but it is the first time the share of women in the total representation in the parliament has gone down. It's still very important to fight because we have not reached gender equality, and because there is a backlash that wants to get women back home, and we don't want that.
The European Parliament has been a driving force for EU progress on gender equality. In 1979, it chose a woman as its first elected president, and in 1984 set up the Women's Rights Committee to push for change.
Laws can be proposed only by the Commission. This is a big problem we need to address more generally, as the European Parliament must have, in my opinion, the right of initiatives as all national parliaments. However, when a new law is proposed, then the Parliament and the Council amend, discuss and improve it. And it's a joint process, and we all work together to find the best solution.
And apart from legislation, shaping legislation, what other roles Parliament has?
We raise awareness, hold debates, and monitor how laws are applied. We also send strong political messages. The Parliament has a key role in keeping gender equality high on the agenda and on the public debate. When women see other women in leadership, it sends a strong message. It helps change stereotypes and shows that gender should never be a barrier to success. This is one of the messages on Gender Equality Week.
You can tell us a little bit more about the Gender Equality Week. What is its purpose?
Gender Equality Week is the best tool we have in the European Parliament to mainstreaming gender equality in all committees.
Each committee discusses how gender affects its area, from the economy to the environment.
Unless we are able to bring that principles, to bring that equality to all our regulation, to all of our policies, we will not advance on gender equality and on women's rights.
In 2024, the EU adopted several major directives tackling discrimination against women. Now, it's up to member countries to implement those measures on closing gender gap in pay and pensions, increasing female representation on company boards, and ending gender-based violence.
One of the main achievements we have was with the gender-based violence directive. I think this is a huge step, having in mind that 1 out of 3 women in the European Union has suffered any kind of violence. This is something we cannot really afford if we are democracies. So obviously it is also important to work directly in labor market, as we have done, for instance, with the Pay Transparency Directive. It is a very important tool because it allows everyone to know how much that person is paid compared to another person that it is doing a job of equal value.
What would be your message to those member states that are not that eager to implement it?
Well, just to say that they are losing a lot of talent. They are losing to have better societies, more equal societies, more prosperous societies, and more democratic societies.
Keeping up the fight for gender equality is not just about political will. It also requires investment. That's where the EU's long-term budget comes in, funding common projects to help EU countries achieve more together than they could alone.
Budget is the tool that shows political priorities, but it is also the place, and there are tools for it, gender-sensitive budgeting, to advance on what we call this gender mainstreaming. To keep improving gender equality in the EU, the next budget should really include gender mainstreaming in all the budget.
What European Parliament's and EU's work would you highlight as the most important for the future?
To find ways to address negative sides on the online environment, deepfake, harassment, misbehavior, persecutions, find a better conciliation between work and family through a new European deal on caring and family. Use the EU budget to invest more in education, skills, improvement, and more career and study opportunities for young women and girls, especially in the STEM sector. In all this, maybe a good start would be to have a new gender equality strategy in place quickly.
STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, fields where women are still underrepresented across Europe. But achieving equality isn't just about better opportunities. It's also about safety, dignity, and the right to live free from violence.
We really need to keep going on attacking or on fighting back this gender-based violence, and to include a concept-based legislation for rape. We really need to fight against this gender equality backlash, especially the sexual and reproductive health rights that are in danger, in real danger.
What's your message to young Europeans about gender equality?
Talent and skill and no gender. Believe in yourself and help build a fairer Europe for all.
If they really care about democracy, if they really care about the European project, they should also care a lot about gender equality.
Are you happy to be a woman in today's world rather than the 50s?
Women have more rights now, more opportunities, and more freedom than in the 50s. So I can say yes. We study, we build careers, we take part in politics and shape our future. So, of course, there are still challenges and we must keep fighting. We must be proud of how far we have come, and I feel responsible for continuing that progress for the next generation, also in the capacity I have in the European Parliament.
What began in 1957 with the Treaty of Rome continues today. Europe is still pushing forward on gender equality. But laws only work if we all play our part, by voting, holding governments accountable, and by expecting more. What do you think? What's the biggest barrier on gender equality where you live? Let us know.